Hi, everyone. Welcome to my first webinar here on YouTube. I'm super excited to try this out with you. Just another way to get in front of people. So I'm excited. My name is Sarah Holden, and I am a clinical herbalist in training. I'm an herbalist, and I'm also working right now to do my clinical portion of my training certificate. I live here in Montana, and I have a wonderful family, super supportive of everything I do. Two beautiful little girls. And everything I do is for my family. And so I have always been interested in plants. That was my college training, was in botany, natural resources, restoration, that kind of stuff. My husband and I have a small business in that field. And then I have been working from home while my kids were growing up. Now they're both in school, and so I kind of felt myself looking for other things to do. So I just wanted to give you a quick, I guess, just an intro on me. In addition to herbalism, plant medicine, I love essential oils. I've been using them for many years. They've changed my family's health. They've changed our life. And I love how they support me emotionally. They support my body. And so they've been really beneficial. And so I started sharing my love for these little bottles, doTERRA. And about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 almost, I started building a business with doTERRA. It has been the most empowering and just an amazing journey of personal development and self-awareness, and also just creating these wonderful relationships with people. So I just wanted to hop on today, give a little practice, and also start trying to use the Google Hangouts here. So today we're going to talk about natural solutions for sleep support. And I really love talking about herbs and essential oils and different ways that you can use them. I'd like people to think about all the tools that they could kind of put together in a toolbox, and how they can empower themselves by preparing this toolbox, maybe mentally in their head or physically in their home, to where they feel confident enough to do things with their family at home, instead of just rushing off to the doctor for every little sniffle, sneeze, cold, things like that. And tonight with sleep, there's lots of things you can do. A lot of it is foundational stuff. And instead of going out and using sleep aids or whatever pharmaceutical your doctor has prescribed you. So first things first is, what is your diet? So do you need to change your diet? Are there foods you can eliminate from your diet? I know going cold turkey on anything is really hard. But if you can look at your foundational health, which is your diet, what you're putting in your mouth, and address some of the foods that you may be eating that are affecting your sleep. So maybe you are eating a lot of processed, refined foods, white sugars. I found dairy really makes me feel sluggish and fatigued. And once I cut it out of my diet, that really helped change a lot of things in the kind of fatigue world. So really look at your diet, see where you can make changes. What can you slowly take away? Maybe you're having a ding dong every day in your lunch with a bag of Doritos. Maybe you could take those two things out of your lunch, focus on just lunch and changing your lunch habits and making lunch a super, super nutritive, nourishing kick, right? You don't have to take everything out. I don't want this to feel like something you can't do. I want little baby steps if that's the way you're going to get there. Ditch the caffeine after 4 p.m., people. Like, this is so obvious, and so many people drink pots of coffee. They're drinking soda like water. My friend told me that her partner the other day, he's been getting up from the couch and saying, oh, I have a headache or I feel dizzy, when she notices that he never has anything in his hand besides a can of Coke. She asked him, this was Tuesday, asked him when the last time he had drank any water. Saturday. He said Saturday. He had not had any water since Saturday. He was drinking, but he was drinking Coke, coffee, soda. So he was so dehydrated. His body was like banging on his head to tell him to go and hydrate. So stop drinking caffeine. It keeps you awake. Even those people that say, oh, I can have a cup of coffee after dinner. Stop drinking coffee. Cut the caffeine out. Chocolate, anything with caffeine, cut that out after 4 p.m. And that will be really helpful for your sleep regimen. Get on a schedule. Okay, all this stuff is nothing new. You are all going to be like, oh yeah, of course. I've heard that. But if you're not doing it, it's not going to work. Get on a sleep schedule. Go to bed before midnight. So if you're a late riser, you may tend to stay up later. So how can you adjust your routine or your schedule to get your butt into bed at 9 o'clock? Maybe you're going to read till 9:30, but at least you're in bed and your eyeballs are going to be shut before 10 o'clock. And then that will help you start getting up earlier. I know this from personal experience because I was a total insomniac after I had kids. I used to go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. I couldn't get out the door to work if I was not in bed by 9. But now, after my kids, I can stay up all hours of the night, get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and feel like I can keep going. But I came to a point where I realized it was not sustainable. And so made a lot of changes, and it's just really been amazing. So open up your eyes to that, literally. And at 9 o'clock, it's time to think about getting your eyes shut and getting into bed. Get a good book that you can start reading. And, you know, if you go to bed with your spouse, it might help your libido a little bit as well. Because definitely we had less sex when I was staying up till all hours of the night because I was not going to bed with my husband ever. So really important. Get on a schedule. Get enough magnesium in your diet. And maybe people know this, maybe they don't, but magnesium, if we would just get more magnesium in your diet, you would have you would see a lot of things changing. So whether you take that as just like a nutrient or you look into a supplement line, doTERRA has amazing supplements. You can always reach out to me and look at our options as well. But get on some kind of magnesium supplement, and it will really, really help. Change your exercise routine. So if you're doing exercise and you're having issues sleeping, think about what you're doing, and maybe it's not as effective, or maybe you're doing it at the wrong time of day. A lot of people will find if they exercise at night, it actually keeps them awake and, you know, wakes them up. Some people feel exercising at night helps them go to sleep. So figure out where you are on that spectrum and adjust your exercise schedule accordingly. But the key is that you are exercising. You want to be exercising regularly for not just sleep support, but for the whole big health picture. You cannot go through life without exercising the body and getting things moving. As we age, exercise is such an important factor in our foundational health. And then my last tip is use herbs and essential oils to help with your sleep support. So let's talk about herbs, first of all, for sleep. You've probably heard of some of these, and maybe you haven't. And I'm happy to connect with you and share more if you want more specific information. You can also comment on the space below and let me know what questions you have. So Valeriana officinalis, this is a really, really stinky plant. And so we use the root, and it's really stinky. And so think about how you're going to ingest this. If it's in a tea form, are you going to be able to stomach getting that stinky smell down every time you bring it up to your mouth and nose? I love to use valerian in a sleep tincture form. And so I actually add valerian tincture to kind of a formulation tincture that I make. A woman that I am going to school with is an amazing herbalist, and she has an amazing sleep tincture, and she keeps giving it to me. She won't let me pay her for it. My husband drinks it every night like water. He swears by it. I swear by it as well. But she won't. She's kind of mentioned what's in it, right? But I don't know all of it. So valerian is really great for erasing kind of worried mind. And a lot of times if your mind is worried and racing or depressed, or you're having kind of emotional things going on in your head, your brain is connected through all these neurotransmitters to your gut, right? And so if you're having issues up here, then you probably are having some issues in your gut. And so that can actually keep you awake as well, having that upset, worried tummy, and then kind of a worried, racing mind. So valerian is a really great sedative in that respect. But because even though it's a sedative, you won't get those groggy side effects. And so that's really nice, because regular kind of sedatives, maybe one that you get from your doctor, is going to make you feel kind of lethargic and groggy. So your body, like just a note about valerian, and maybe a lot of you already know this, but your body can get used to valerian. And so with many different types of plants, they can work differently in my body than they can in someone else's. And so what works for me may not always work for Joe. But the point is that you try different plants and you find what does work for you. But with valerian, your body can get used to that herb. So like after 3 or 4 weeks, I always recommend switching out another herb to kind of reset your body when it comes to going back to the valerian. And so 3 to 4 weeks on the valerian, and then a couple weeks off of it. And then you can go back and just kind of back and forth. So you'll have to be mindful, about what you're taking and what you're doing. California poppy. So this is like a natural opioid, really. And you would think that it would be something that you wouldn't want to take much of. You can't let kids use it. It wouldn't be really safe. But actually, this is a great herb to use, and it's also very safe for kids. Eschscholzia californica is the binomial or the Latin name. This is a great herb for insomnia, and so I really enjoyed using this to help me get over my insomnia ways, right? And it's really great to kind of just calm and soothe that anxiety, that restlessness that you feel. It helps you fall asleep, and it actually improves the quality of your sleep. So you can use it with valerian. If you find that you need a stronger sedative, this is definitely a great one to use. I like to take most all of my herbs in tincture form. That's really the most powerful way to ingest herbs into the body. A lot of people use tea. Even being an herbalist, I love tea. My husband makes me tea in the morning, but I'm using teas medicinally. It's not very often. I love tinctures, and you can't really see my apothecary cabinet behind that curtain, but I have a lot of tinctures that I've made, and just stuff that is sitting there waiting to be used someday. Try 30 to 40 drops of the California poppy twice daily. And then with the second one, maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes or so before bed. Passion flower. Has anyone ever heard of passion flower? So Passiflora incarnata is the Latin name or the scientific name of this plant. It's really great for those who tend to wake up frequently throughout the night. So you can try using this in larger doses and for long periods of time. It's very effective. Again, I would use maybe 30 to 60 drops, so like 2 full tincture dropper fulls before you go to bed. If that's not enough, you can take the dose up to 4 times a day. Hops, okay, we don't just make beer with hops, but when you drink too much beer, you usually feel tired and sluggish and groggy. So hops, humulus lupulus, I love that name, humulus lupulus. Hops is a really fast-acting nervine, and it's a sedative, right? And so it's really great for hysteria and depression, anxiety, stress-related kind of stuff. It also helps with digestion too. So this herb is safe for pretty much everyone, and you can use it, let's see, for even, you know, kids and such. Chamomile, Matricaria. The Roman chamomile is more geared for sleep and relaxing and calming, where the German chamomile is going to be something you would use more for like respiratory and cold kind of conditions to support your respiratory system. But chamomile is amazing. You can get it anywhere. A tea form is going to be really approachable for people. It's a soothing tea, you know, especially if you add a little bit of like local honey. That can be really helpful. And chamomile tea is really nice to drink before bed. And this is like maybe a good way to get your child into a routine. You could make them a cup of chamomile tea before bed and kind of help promote sleep that way. This is a super effective and super gentle herb that anyone can use. So now let's talk a little bit about essential oils. I love essential oils. I always tell everyone you have to use the best essential oils. And in my mind and in my opinion, the best essential oils in the world are doTERRA. I've done my research. I feel that my plant knowledge and understanding with how plants are, where and when they grow is really important. And you can have the exact same species of plant, but if it's growing in a different location with different kind of soil and different sun, maybe different aspect, one's south facing, one's north facing, one has more insects that are feeding on it and trying to attack it while one doesn't. The plants are going to have different constituents. They're going to have different levels of those constituents, and that means that their medicine is going to be different. And so what I love about doTERRA is they not only are mission-based, where they are actually really trying to do good in the world with their practices, but they're sustainable co-ops that they develop in these third world countries are actually located where the plant grows naturally or where the plant is native. And so if you just grow your plants, your essential oil plants in a farm in Utah or Idaho or wherever, and that plant is not indigenous to that area, you are not going to have a plant that's growing strong and to the best of its ability. You're going to have these like lazy plants that are like living it up because they have nothing to feed on them, no bugs that want to eat them. They have no diseases that want to infest them. They don't have animals that are coming around and trying to eat on them. So they grow really lazy. And so the quality from those plants in the form of your essential oil is going to be really diminished. Excuse me. So probably not okay to cough on your live, but this is live, right? And I'm just going to take a couple drops, and then I put a pump of carrier oil to dilute. I have a little bit of a cough that just came on, so I'm just inhaling some Breathe Blend essential oil, which is a great respiratory support oil. So back to what I was saying, do your research. doTERRA is not expensive. If you look at the breakdown from cost per drop, it's an amazing, amazing product. I love that I sell natural medicines that are inexpensive, super effective, and super supportive and life-changing. It's like the best job ever. So let's talk about essential oils. Bergamot. Bergamot is like an amazing citrus oil. It's one of my favorites. I use it in a lot of the blends that I make up. This is great essential oil for seasonal affective disorder, otherwise known as SAD. Living in Montana, in the particular valley that I live in, it gets socked in. We have not much visualization of sun in the winter here. All anybody does here is ski, 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 ski. A lot of winter activities outside, but not a lot of sunshine. And so bergamot is a great oil, citrus oil, to help support those kind of like sluggish, sad, kind of dreary, yucky days. It's just really uplifting. But it's not only uplifting, and that's what I love about plants, is they come into your body and they're like, what support do you need? We're here to help. We're not going to fix your problems, but we're going to support you and help you fix your problems. And so while it can be really great and uplifting, a lot of citrus oils can also have a calming and soothing effect on the body. And so these really, the bergamot really relieves stress. It's really calming, and it can just help blend. If you're making blends, essential oil blends in like a roller, okay, in like a roller. Definitely the bergamot is one that you'll see a lot in different blends and stuff. It adds in so nicely. Cedarwood, okay, so I use bergamot and cedarwood or wild orange and cedarwood for my children to help them sleep at night. Cedarwood is really great. It has a woodsy smell, so they really like that. It's very calming. And for my kids, cedarwood is more effective at supporting my kids getting to sleep and staying to sleep than lavender. So we use a lot of cedarwood and not a lot of lavender, believe it or not. Even though lavender is one of the most well-known essential oils for sleep, my mom loves to use lavender in a diffuser. I doubt she even has ever touched an oil to her skin, but she uses it in a diffuser, and she says that it helps her stay asleep. Sometimes people will use lavender and they'll wake up and they're like, did I even move? Like, what just happened? So lavender is a great essential oil to have in your toolkit. I'm just saying for my kids, it seems like cedarwood and a citrus are more effective at getting them to get to sleep and to stay asleep. Lavender, while I'm talking about it, is really great for soothing the body and calming the mind. There's a small percentage of people, like I said, who experience opposite effects from lavender, where it actually kind of gets them going. So obviously you want to avoid lavender. If that's the case for you, avoid it during sleepy time. We talked about Roman chamomile as an herb. You can also get it as an essential oil. It's really beautiful. The smell, I love just this plant in general. and it's just known to calm babies to the elderly, and so everyone can use it. It's a really great natural sleep tool. Clary sage, maybe you've heard of this, but it's another wonderful plant. It has some of the same constituents as valerian. We talked about valerian as a tincture or a tea, and clary sage is a great and very effective sedative. So in fact, when studied in comparison to lavender and chamomile, even rosemary, the strongest anti-stressor was clary sage, and so it kind of beat everybody out in those studies. Definitely have clary sage. If you're a woman, you should have clary sage in your kit, because I'm going to talk about that in another live. But definitely have clary sage in your kit. Coriander. So just like lavender, coriander is rich in a chemical constituent called linalool. 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 And this oil really works kind of like lavender. It's great at reducing stress and anxiety and helps support your sleep. Frankincense. Frankincense is on special this month too, FYI. If you order any 200 PV order, so that's roughly $200 of a one-time order, or maybe you're enrolling with some kind of starter kit for over 200 bucks. Any order over 200 PV, 1 PV equals $1 in most cases with oils, you will get a free bottle of frankincense. And so it's a 15 milliliter bottle. This is like a $93 retail value, and so it is a no-brainer. If you are already using essential oils and you want to just place a one-time order, wholesale order, you can fill up your cart to qualify you to get this doTERRA frankincense. doTERRA frankincense is the best frankincense I have ever experienced. And I love the fact that I know the people that are harvesting the frankincense in Oman and Somalia have the proper safety equipment to climb out on these craggy trees over these crazy cliffs to harvest and scrape off the resin that comes from that tree. doTERRA, that's another wonderful thing that they do. They worry and they care about their harvesters. They care about the farmers and the people that they have brought into their co-ops, and they treat them like family. I don't know if anyone knows this or how much you know about essential oils. There's no regulations, so anyone can say they're pure. doTERRA has created their own protocol called Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, where they actually have lots of third-party testing and lots of in-house testing. They do the most testing on their essential oils than any other company in the world. And they do this so they can really assure their customers that they are standing out above and beyond. I love that doTERRA pays their workers, their harvesters, their farmers, everyone on a weekly basis. Do you know that most every other essential oil company in this business buys their oils in huge big vats? They pay one time, once a year. If the harvest doesn't come to fruition, maybe there was hail or an insect or some kind of detriment to that harvest, then those farmers do not get paid by that essential oil company. doTERRA pays no matter what. They are truly uplifting communities, and I am super excited, as you all know, that I get to share all about them. So frankincense, people, you need to get some if you don't have some. This is the god of all oils. If you're running out of a burning building and you could take any oil, this is the oil you would take. Frankincense is like, it's like an accelerator oil. You put it in blends or you add it to another oil, and it just kind of like enhances all of the constituents in those oils and really helps bring things about. It's great for sleep. It's great for emotions, great for depression. It can do no wrong. Marjoram is very good at helping to relax the body. It calms the body so you can get to sleep. If you have marjoram in an herb form or an oil form, definitely think about using this besides just using it for cooking. This is a great oil for sleep. Wild orange, I mentioned the citrus. We use wild orange and cedarwood with my kids and their diffusers. Most of the time, all citruses are kind of bright and happy. They help relieve stress. But it's a great, wild orange is just something that you can kind of add to anything. If you took wild orange and peppermint together in your hand and some deep, deep breathing, it would be amazing because you would instantly feel this uplifting effect from that aromatic diffusion. But wild orange can also, like I said, have that opposite effect on some people and help them kind of just calm and relax. Who's heard of sandalwood? So I love sandalwood. This is a coveted oil. It took me a little while to get this oil, but I have it now and I love it. It's a really earthy scent, but kind of sweet. And it's just another one that really calms you and kind of grounds you and kind of centers you, slows your mind. And it can be really supportive for a sleep blend. Vetiver. This is a really stinky oil. It smells like feet to me. It's really musty smelling, but the viscosity of the oil is like super thick. And as the bottle ages, it gets more and more goopy around the lid and harder to open. Some people will actually put like a dropper in their oil for vetiver if they're using it a lot. So definitely calms the mind and body, helps you to fall asleep faster and stay awake. 1 or 2 drops is all you need with this oil, or else it's really overpowering. And vetiver, for me, I had an experience where I had diluted some vetiver and I placed it over my heart before I went to bed. And I got up in bed and I was reading, and I noticed my heart was racing, and it would not stop. A second time, I tried lavender and vetiver, getting ready for bed. My heart was racing. And so I don't use vetiver to calm me down because it actually, I think, speeds me up. So this is one that you either love or hate as far as the smell goes. And for me, I don't use a lot of it because it actually gets me going even more so than I already am. The last oil that I want to talk to you about is ylang ylang. And maybe you say it differently. That's how I say it. But this is a very floral essential oil, and it comes from the flower and kind of reminds me of like a tropical island. It's so yummy and gorgeous. It's just one of those strong essential oils, and you only need a really small amount for it to be super effective. If you're putting it in a blend, you just need like 1 drop because you don't want this one to overpower whatever kind of blend you're making. But ylang ylang is kind of like clary sage. You should definitely have this in your arsenal of essential oils. It's a beautiful flower, and I just love this sweet little plant. So that's all I wanted to share. Hopefully you learned a little bit about some herbs and essential oils that you can use for your sleep support. And just if you would subscribe to my channel, I'm going to start sharing a lot of broadcasts or videos here on this channel. And I hope that in the future I can kind of just feed off your comments and bring you content that you want to see. So thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.